ways to promote the growth of Tigres in English through analysis, discussions, interviews, and more. Welcome to the Lautimes podcast. And welcome back, everybody, to the Lautimes podcast, the only show in the world talking about Tigres in English. One of the last survivors talking about anything Liga MX related in English, and we're proud to be talking about it. Proud to be talking about our team, about the league. Thank you for joining us tonight on this Tuesday in January. I'm Dennis. I'm the producer and tonight's host. Happy to be joined by two of my friends here in Texas as well. Starting off with my boy up here in DFW with me. You know him, you love him as Edgar, aka Double L Nation. How are you?
Doing good. Glad to be back with you guys. It's cold.
Yes, I was gonna mention something about that here in a second. And we're also joined by the man himself at Tigres_English down in Austin. Lou, how are you? Hookem?
What's up, guys? Great to be here, man. Ready for the winter apocalypse coming in.
Yeah. So how are we feeling about that? It's coming, man. I will actually be in Lou's part of town this weekend, so I feel like I'm escaping some of it because from what I can tell, it's gonna get real bad up here in DFW, especially on Saturday. So, Edgar, how you preparing? Are you gonna make a big grocery run soon? Get some rations or what?
Yeah, so I did a HEB pickup order today, so I'm set. Thankfully, I won't have to go out, but I was informed at work that we're still expected to show up all week. So,
nice.
Of course,
we'll see how that
goes. The life of law enforcement, of keeping our people and our streets safe. Lou, what are you already preparing, or are you holding off?
There's plenty of toilet paper, bro. We're going to be good.
That's all that I like to hear. I'm just rambling at this point. I'll be in Austin for some gigs this weekend, and I already preemptively am making plans to stay Sunday night, even though I was planning to head home Sunday after work. And after seeing Lou and I are actually going to get together on Sunday. That's the plan, at least. But I'm already kind of just thinking, okay, I may stay down there another night because I don't think 35 is going to be open.
Yeah.
Sunday night, at least with the rate it's going.
And if it is, you probably don't want to be driving north on the highway.
No, thank you. You know it's bad when the Rangers, who are supposed to have their fan fest this weekend on Saturday, already canceled it, and it's Tuesday. That's when you know it's bad. So hopefully the grid stays alive, and hopefully the people who are going to be out sanding the streets and making sure the ice goes away quicker do it quickly and actually are on time, because y'all know how it is in Texas. Texas is pretty slow when it comes to figuring out how to exist in snow, unfortunately. So anywho, if you're not in Texas, you're like, y'all are weak. Well, we are. This is how it is every year.
We're not Wisconsin.
Yeah, we can't hang. Mark, if you're watching or listening later, we can't hang with you guys up further north. We really can't. So this is just
we don't even try to hang.
No, not even close. Not even close. Anywho, enough about snow. Let's talk about Tigres. Before we start talking about Tigres, if you're watching with us live this evening, I hope you are, please join us in the chat. Please come hang out with us there. The show is better when you guys interact with us, so please come hang out. If you haven't already, you should post or help us repost this stream to anybody who would be interested. Send the link out. Repost, retweet on Twitter if you're watching there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe if you're listening on pod. We've gotten a couple more followers on the Spotify end of things the last couple weeks. I don't know why, but I'm quite happy with that. We're at 61. I'd like for us to get to 100 Spotify followers by the summer. I feel like we can do that. So if you guys can help make that happen, that would be awesome. So thank you for joining us. I feel like my mic is going out. It might be going out. I'm not totally sure. Can y'all still hear me?
A little low, but we can hear you.
Okay, I'm gonna try to fix this. While I try to fix it, Edgar has prepared another great outline for us. Kick us off with the men's team, my friend.
Absolutely. So, Tigres versus Toluca recap and Tigres versus Pumas recap. Last week was a busy one for Los Incomparables as it meant closing match days number 2 and number 3 in the books with 2 matches on home turf. Tigres had 6 points up for grabs but was only able to secure 1. A bitter loss Wednesday night suffered against Pumas, who broke their winless streak at the Volcan with a final score of 1-0, and a Saturday night goalless draw against the current Liga MX champions. 0 goals and 0 signings. Is there any positive outlook for this team?
Okay, can y'all hear me now? I think that already sounds way better. But yeah, you summed it up really well there, my friend. 1 point out of 6. Back-to-back games at home. Not great. Not great at all. That's a big missed opportunity. And as I said after the Pumas game on Twitter the other night, I fear that this may come back to bite us. This week may come back to bite us in April when we're talking about final league positioning ahead of Liguilla. Hopefully not, but I fear that we're heading down that track already. Let's start with the Pumas game. I don't think we need to overanalyze too much because honestly, the thing about that game was Keylor Navas just turned into prime Keylor Navas, and it was just annoying, right? Like we dominated the heck out of that game. We had our XG was like almost 3, if I remember correctly, and it just wasn't our night. The ball just didn't go in, and it just happened to be one of those nights. Do you think, Lou, I'll start with you. Do you think it's just that? Or was there any other part of that game that you want to kind of dive into?
No, I said it after the San Luis game that I was a bit disappointed that we had allowed 1 shot on goal against San Luis and they scored on that 1 shot on goal. And I said that's a concern. It was off a set piece, but it was just too easy. And so unfortunately, we carried that into the Pumas game where without them generating too many chances in that first half, they were able to get an early score on us, and then we played right into their game plan. That's what they wanted to do, play in a low block the entire night, frustrate us. And so we basically handed the game to them. Sadly, it just worked out that they were able to defend with so many pieces, and we didn't really have much of an answer. Tom Harrison did a great review of that game of how many crosses we generated, but how many few crosses actually reached the destination. So it just kind of goes to show that what we've been saying, that this team oftentimes depends a lot on the wingers and the fullbacks. And unfortunately, we haven't had good play from the wingers and fullbacks at the start of the season. So defensively, some concerns. And then offensively, I think we're starting to show that we are lacking depth with Osiel Herrera being out, with Farfan out. That left side just looks completely depleted. We have basically no attack on that side. And when you're one dimensional and predictable like that, it just makes it easier for teams to target us. And so I think it was a game that we could have easily won had it been our night. But like you said, it felt pretty early on that it wasn't going to be our night. And I was trying to stay positive, but it just felt like it was going to be one of those nights where the ball didn't go in. Angel Correa missed like 2 sitters, and that just kind of goes to show like our best player wasn't able to put it away. So I'm not too concerned about that game. I thought we did enough to win it, and we didn't. Sometimes you just got to go with it. But we'll get into the Toluca game. I think that one has a few more concerns that we can bring up.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway, and this kind of bleeds into the Toluca game too, is that there's just not a lot of rhythm currently with the team, and I think that's to be expected. I mean, it is only games 2 and 3, and you just came off a long run in the playoffs. You got to the final. There's some level of, okay, this team still needs a little bit of time to kind of regel, but for how dominant we were statistically, 68% possession, 31 total shots, only 6 of them on target, which is not super great. You had 300 more passes than them, and yet somehow Pumas, they score this goal that was really annoying because I felt like Purata could have done so much better to like close that down. There was just a lot in that wasn't great, and you end up playing this frustrating game where you come from behind. Guido had a good game plan. He actually made good subs at the right time, like made some changes at halftime, if I remember correctly. And yet it just didn't work, and Pumas ends up winning their first game at El Volcan in God knows how long, like 20-something years or something like that.
Not that long, but it's I think 2014, if I'm not mistaken.
No, 10 years, 11
12
years.
years, 12 years,
Yeah,
going on 12 years.
that's still a long time, man. It
Yeah.
really is. So frustrating. Edgar, I want you to go next, but before I loop you in, we do need to loop in our man down in the H. But you know him as the Pride of Corpus. There he is, Mr. AJ. How are you?
Doing good, doing good.
Hey, y'all did beat the Horns in basketball a few days ago, so I mean, I guess you have a little bit of a higher place.
And then we got 50-piece in women's basketball. So
Yeah. The UT women's team is really good this year. Hey, at least your football team didn't lose to the eventual national champions.
Yeah,
So
we don't talk about that either.
Yeah, for sure. Edgar, in your eyes, do you agree with Lou and I's sentiment of, okay, it was just one of those nights, or do you think there was something deeper to that Pumas game that maybe you want to bring up?
So for me, Wednesday night was really more just lack of luck, a little bit of lack of options on the bench, but that's something we're going to be encountering for the entire season, it seems like. But no, I think it was just more unlucky. I think we didn't play bad, but like you mentioned, Navas decided to go back to his prime mode, and it was just really, really difficult.
AJ, I'll kick to you next. Since we all kind of share the same sentiment, I do want to talk about one piece of that game that kind of bleeds into off the field stuff. A guy who I think we spent a lot of time on recently, talking about him in a negative light, and unfortunately, I am bringing him up again in a somewhat negative light. Juan Bruneta, who didn't, I feel like he, for a guy who is supposed to produce, was pretty bad on Wednesday. And then obviously there was the stuff after the game with the Instagram, like clean out that he did. I don't know. Do you have any sort of thoughts on that? Is it just like a whole lot of nothing, or just what do you think about him in the light of that game specifically?
I just think it's the attitude. And it's just not for this year. It's like last year. We've seen the prima donna attitude come from him. I get it. If you're frustrated, you're frustrated. But to go delete all your Instagram posts about the club, it's kind of childish, in my opinion. But what can we do now? Like we honestly can't afford to bench him now. So it's just kind of one of those situations to where, like, you kind of have to, due to the lack of depth, you have to play him, or you risk losing the attacking player that we do have from him. But it's just a weird situation overall. I don't agree with the attitude, and that is something that Guido does need to address.
Maybe we can save this for another time, but maybe that's where the comments / rumblings that came out right after Aquino left about too many Argentines. Maybe that there's a little bit of that in play right now. I'm not trying to speculate too much, but maybe there's some truth behind that statement that we heard a few weeks ago online. So again, nothing too deep other than just didn't go in. The ball just didn't want to go in. Do we have a player who at least stood out in that game? I felt like two at least were good. Chuy Garza and Joaquim. Any other candidates you want to throw out for having at least a decent game on that Wednesday night game?
Romulo was all right.
Yeah.
I think he had a decent game.
Okay. I would
throw him in there.
I don't think anybody else deserves a shout besides that. I gotta say, Chuy's been really good this season so far. It feels like there hasn't been like any problems on that right side because of him, at least. You know, like Lainez is still kind of getting back into it a little bit, but I feel like on his end of the deal, he's doing well in the attack. He's defended really well. Like, he hasn't had any mistakes. His passing's been really crisp. I don't know. I feel like now that I think he knows that he's a starter and is probably not going to get taken from it anytime soon. I think there's a sense of confidence from him that has been showing over the last 3 games that hopefully will continue on going into the rest of the season. So
I'll give a shout to Lainez because when he came on the second half against Pumas, he was sharp. It really got the flow of the attack going on the right side. Left side still ghost, and I think teams are starting to realize that we don't utilize the left side. If you force everything to the right, the left is non-existent with our team. So that is something that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, something's got to change in the system there for the time being, at least until some guys get healthy. All right, enough about that. Let's talk about the Toluca game. So that game being a draw, I don't think it's surprising considering the level these teams are at. I said it on my footy TikTok. I posted a video about that game like right after, and I said that, you know, for it being, you know, a month since the final, did we really expect the same sort of intensity, the same sort of, you know, just tense nature that we saw in that rematch? No. I mean, I felt like it was a pretty not great watch. Like, it was not a enjoyable football game to see, but there are some bits and pieces of it, I think, from both sides that you could take and build off of for the rest of the season. But at least from our perspective, you could tell that even though I felt like both teams lacked some rhythm, there's a difference in Toluca's lack of rhythm and our lack of rhythm. And I feel like there's a pretty big gap, at least right now. And part of that is because of injuries, but I don't know. I feel like we're struggling a little bit to get the gears going right now. Thoughts on the overall team performance on Saturday, Edgar?
For me, it was more disappointing than anything. I think that was a little more frustrating. There were positive elements, but overall, I think we didn't perform at our best.
Okay. AJ?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The midfield was all over the place. We couldn't really link the defense to the offense. Just a lack of, penetration from our boys. The goal that Brunetta had that was disallowed. Yeah, that was a banger, but I guess that was really like our true attack on goal. But yeah, definitely disappointing. And it like you said, the quality between us and Toluca is like, it's bad in terms of like the sharpness. Yes, it's 3 games in, but they look like they're heading into the right direction while we're stagnant in the middle or trending down.
Yeah, 0.27 XG justifies that claim you just made. And I don't think they counted that last shot, that goal that was disallowed towards that. So it was not a great game from the scoring uh, creation department. Lou, I'll give you the floor here to kind of go a little bit more in depth.
Yeah, it's one of those games where both teams kind of decided to battle it out in the middle third, and it felt like it was at times a big stalemate. I mean, you look at the Lucas XG, it was under one as well.
It was
You know,
point four.
yeah, they didn't, they didn't generate a whole lot either. I mean, I think it was a battle in the middle third, and I agree with AJ. I think they do look sharper than us. They look more like a unit than we did. Um, I felt like at times our shape was wrong. I'm always looking at the distance between lines, and it was off. I feel like we were splitting too many passes, making them 50-50 balls. We were depending too much on Nahuel's long ball. So there was just a lot of things that I feel like, man, that's not the way Pizarro wants to play. So it was frustrating to watch. With Osvaldo Rodriguez not being very good defensively and not very good offensively, they were able to take advantage of that wing. And so
In
Barbosa
the
had a
first half.
yeah, they had a lot of chances in that, like, not a lot of chances, but they had a lot of passage through that right side with Barbosa. And so it was very disappointing that we were never able to really get a hold of that left wing and do something with it. You've talked about Brunetta. I feel like Brunetta just isn't getting enough touches, and part of it might be motivation. He just might not be asking for the ball enough, putting himself in the right spots. So that's something we need to definitely look at. Like AJ said, we can't afford to bench him, obviously, but we do need to figure out to get him motivated, getting playing up to his potential. So I think there's a lot of carryover from the end of the season. I think guys might be mentally fatigued, not only just physically, but I think mentally losing that final might have taken a toll. And so it could be one of these situations where it might take us 6 or 7 games to get ourselves back to where we were. And so it's a little bit of both. I think mentally and physically, I think we're a little out of it. And then obviously the injuries don't help. So it's just starting to show what we've been talking about all this time, is that the front office hasn't built enough depth on the squad to make it competitive. You went from Farfan to Osvaldo Rodriguez. That's a big drop, and I think that's hurting us.
Yeah, big time. I will say, because Streaker's also saying the same thing, that Osby has been an issue. I feel like he's been an issue for the first two games. I honestly felt like in the Toluca game he was actually fine. Like obviously he's not giving you anything offensively, but especially in the second half, I thought he did his job on the defensive end. And I think you can't ask for much more than that, especially once Morata went out, once the red card happened. Like I really felt like his side of the field was going to get exposed a little bit more, and honestly, it kind of wasn't. I felt like he did a good job of, at least keeping things the way that they were. I'm not saying he was a world beater, but let's not get it twisted. He was not the problem on Saturday. There were other things that were the problem. Obviously, Purata was not great. The lack of rhythm, but also the attackers just weren't very good. Like Brunetta lost the ball way too easily. Drieger also saying this. Loses the ball and he just walks over and never tries to battle it back. His touch has been just so poor, at least to start the season. Correa never really got it going. Lainez, kind of the same thing. You didn't see like prime Lainez that we saw even just a few weeks ago. Nico Ibanez was almost non-existent. I feel like he didn't get enough service. He barely got any service, to be honest. But
Yeah, unfortunately with Nico, I think part of the reason why Pizarro's using him is to try to press, maybe force some errors, but he's not even doing that right.
yeah,
And that's what's really disappointing, is that he's not even pressing well, when I think part of the reason why you're there is to try to win the ball back in some situations. and he's not even doing that. So I think Pizarro's gonna need to rethink that starting lineup a little bit. Maybe try out Gacelo, maybe go with Gignac, and then give him limited minutes, and then bring in Ibanez. He's gonna have to do something there.
Yeah. Or you start rolling with the Correa as
Yeah,
the 9 experiment again, because at least
yeah,
Correa, his pressing will at least trigger something.
yeah. That 4-2-4, it's worked for him in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something that kind of creates a different look as far as like generating offense that may not be successful all the time, but it does work in certain matchups. So that may be a necessary step, because obviously Gacelo, I mean, he could try, but I don't know. There's the jury has kind of been out on him that it's not going to be super great. And Guignac's 40 years old. Like, do you expect him to be this pressing monster at 40 years old? No. Like, I want him to
No,
be, but
but I feel like Gignac at least helps you with the link up play
100%.
and the passing, and I feel like he still sort of ties up the center backs a little bit, whereas Nico is not even doing that.
Yeah.
Like they don't respect him enough to really even give him that double team like they would Gignac. So yeah, I mean I'm with you. I think that 4-2-4 could be the key, and then now you bring in a guy like Marcelo that can score, and then you got Correa, you got Bruneta a little bit
Yep.
further up the pitch,
Yeah.
Lainez. I think that would work.
Yep. We'll see what happens when the next game comes around. A couple more things from this game I want to touch on real quick. Morata's red card. Okay. Obviously it's a second yellow, so it's not like, oh, it was a straight red or whatever. It's frustrating because he hasn't had the best start to the season, and this kind of further, amplifies the noise around him. And I unfortunately don't think it will go away until Angulo comes back. But it's obviously super disappointing for him to let the team down in that way. I get it, but it's not great. It's not a great look for him. And on the topic of Bruneta's disallowed goal, which I think is a foul. I know some people are like, no, it's not a foul. Like, it's a foul. Like, it's soft. 100% it's soft. But it's a foul. Okay? It's a foul. But I want to talk about Nahuel and his online presence after the game. His tweet, if you will. Drinker, it is a foul. It is. He pushed him. Okay? Like, it's soft, but he pushed him. That's how it is.
Here's what I'll say about that, Dennis. I think what upsets fans is the double standards in this
Yes,
league
I
with the referee.
agree. Yes.
Because if you recall last season at home against Cruz Azul, who was it? Bogush or one of these guys came up from behind and pushed Gorriaran in the box.
Yeah.
And they said,
Oh, yeah.
"Oh, that's not a foul."
Oh, yeah. I was at
because
that game, dude. I saw that was like 50 feet in front of me.
because Gorriaran stopped, and because Gorriaran stopped, he's the one that initiated the contact, right? So it's no foul. And in this game, you're saying it's the same thing.
Right.
Pereira stops, and what's his name gives him a
Bruneta,
slight
yeah.
push, right? And then he takes a shot, and now that's a foul. And so let's make up our minds
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you at all. I'm just saying, by letter of the law, it's a foul. Right? Like, can we at least agree on that? By letter of the law, that is a foul. But our stupid league sucks. Our referees suck. It's unfortunate that we get the short end of the stick 95% of the time, but
I don't know, man. It's a contact sport. You can't call stuff that soft, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's a foul, then everything that happens inside
sure.
the box in a corner kick is a foul.
Yes. And they never want to call it. Yeah.
I mean, to me, let's be honest. To me, if nothing happens there, let's say Bruneta kicks it and it goes like,
yeah, it goes wide or whatever.
Yeah, and that's a goal kick, 100%. That call came after the ref saw that the ball went in. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not giving. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there wasn't a whistle until then.
Yeah.
'Cause
It was really late.
Yeah, he should have whistled it, and maybe the crowd noise drowned it out. I don't think it did though. Like he should have whistled it as soon as it happened, but he didn't. And you're right. I don't know.
But and also on the other hand though, as fans, I think we need to get away from. No. Let me correct that. I do feel like as fans, we should put some pressure on these referees to go in our favor. That's our job as fans, right? To be like, hey, refs, get it right, make some calls in our favor for once. But on the other hand, as a team, I think we should be honest. If I'm Guido and the staff, I got to be telling the guys we just didn't do enough to win that game. We didn't deserve the goal.
100%. Yeah.
Don't be crying about it online or anything. Let the fans do the complaining.
Yeah. Now, when
As-
doesn't need
as-
to be saying una cosa de locos, right? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we just didn't. I mean, XG was at 0.27. We didn't earn that.
yeah, yeah. That was a lucky goal. Had it counted and had we won that game, all luck with the way, like, of all the things that could have happened, and for any type of goal to have been scored, that was going to be the goal that made the difference in that game. It was too good to be true. It really was. It was too good to be true.
Yeah, it would have been a reward for a bad performance.
Man of the match for us for that game. Mine was Joaquin. I thought Joaquin was awesome.
Yeah,
That dude was
I
shut
agree.
down.
I agree.
And
Wait.
walking 3 for 3 for me. So
Yeah.
far. You're raising up that price tag.
No complaints.
Yeah. He heard the Palmeiras rumors and he's like, all right, me voy a poner las pilas. Like, bro's locked in. If his passing can get a little bit better, as we know that it should, then it'll be even more. But my last bit about this game. The return of Sebastián Córdoba as a visitor. He comes on to boos from the crowd. How sad I was in that moment to hear boos. This man won us a championship.
There was a little bit of clapping. There was like
a little bit, but it was after, bro. When he came on, it was like, ooh, like come. They were hitting. Hold on, let me get the. Where's the sound effect? They were hitting us with the. That's what they were doing to my CEO. Come on, man. Like, yeah, it didn't end great, but come on. We have number 8 mainly because of him. Get over it.
Yeah, we shouldn't have booed him, but it is what it is, bro. I think the fans were kind of in a bad mood, bro. To be honest with you, it felt like one of those games where the fans weren't too happy. Because didn't Nico Ibanez get booed coming off too?
Oh, bro, they were booing him in the pregame. They booed him.
See,
They booed.
I don't agree with that, bro. Don't boo pregame.
They booed him. They booed Purata, and they booed. They might have booed Bruneta. I think. I'm not totally sure. I need to look back because Edgar Martinez always posts the videos of like when they show the pregame, when they show the lineup video in the stadium. And he said who got booed. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's those 3 though, if I have it correctly. But I agree. Like, come on, like back the team, right? Like, you're gonna boo your own people. Boo the Toluca players besides Sebastian.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, Trigger saying they booed Bruneta and Nico. Yeah, okay. So, confirmation. Cool. At least he didn't do anything though. I mean, he got on the ball a couple times. Ese güey dio un empujón. Who did he push? Goriarán, I'm pretty sure, when he came on. Un empujón, bro. I was like, what did he do to you? You salty, bro? Like,
and that's another thing I wanted to say about the refereeing, bro, is that it was just so inconsistent that night. Some of the stuff that first yellow against Purata was super soft, bro.
Oh,
not deserving of a yellow. And I'm not trying to defend Purata. Once you pick up the yellow, you know better. You got to be careful, and you can't put yourself in that situation. But man, that first yellow was so soft. And I mean, look at Gallardo. Gallardo shouldn't have been in the game after like everything he did. He went full speed, I think, at Garza and like shoved him, or it might have been Linus, and he like shoved him super hard from behind. That didn't get a yellow. I'm like, it's those kinds of inconsistencies that'll drive the fans mad.
Yep. Only to add to the frustration so far of only getting 4 points out of 9 to start the year, sitting in 11th place, unfortunately, in the standings. Not super great. Plenty of time to turn it around. 14 games left, but not the best of starts. All right, I think that's all of our recapping that we have to do on the men's side. Couple squad updates. So Marco Farfan, we knew that he was injured, but we didn't know that he was going to have to get surgery. From what I have understood from the reporters down in Monterrey, he is out at least 2 months, possibly 3. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's a long time. That puts him out until basically Liguilla at this point, which super sucks. And then it's like, okay, is he going to get back into the form that he was in before he got hurt in the final, right? Like, that super sucks. So, what does Tigres do? They panic buy or they panic negotiate, right? We now have a signing. We have one singular signing as of an hour ago when the team officially announced the signing of this kid from Atlante, right? Whatever his name is. Somebody remind me of his name. Plays a left
Pancho
back.
or something.
Francisco Reyes Maldonado.
Okay, so is that
27-year-old center back from the expansion league, ex Atlante.
is that Bayo's like sixth cousin, or he's got the same last name as him? Anyways, sorry, Bayo, we love you. Yeah, so he comes in from Atlante. He can play. He's primarily a left-sided center back, and so I assume he'll be able to play some left back if necessary. It's not great that we have to resort to Division 2 to fill out the squad, but this directiva, man, it is what it is. Edgar, you tweeted out yesterday, the day before, about a certain negotiation going on with America. Can you inform us of that and remind us of how that is going?
I have already forgot the name of the player, but there is a 22-year-old left back, young player by the name of Ralph Orquin. Didn't know too much about the guy, but apparently he's on the radar to try to cover for, that hole that we have in the back line. Kid's not happy with America. He's trying to go elsewhere. I believe the Tigres offer is pretty entertaining, but his objective is still Europe. I don't think he has any offers from any European clubs. I think there's like another Liga MX team that's interested or that was asking about him. I think it was Cruz Azul. But I hear he wants to just get away from Mexico City. So it's still an option. It's still on the table. But America does want a lot of money for the player. His contract expires in 6 months.
Yes, that's what Bayo had reported on last week, is that because he's going to be a free agent in the summer, they're asking too much for a guy who's about to be out of contract. Yeah. And his agent is the one that wants to get him to Europe. Like, his agent is really pushing for him and getting in his ear about it. I don't know if this Maldonado signing affects that at all. And I don't know too much about the kid either. At this point, though, whatever you can get, whatever you can get, right? Like, just try and bring in guys to fill out the squad and fill out the depth as you need to. Even if I think this kid that we just signed from Atlanta is like only a 6-month deal, if I remember correctly. And then maybe Orquin is the same way. Who knows? Makes you think if Jorge Rosales could have waited a little bit longer, could have gotten him for the cheap ski, would have solved a lot of issues.
Oh man, that was bad. I wish we would have landed that guy. The one thing about Orquin though is that if we were to bring him in, he could play left fullback in place of Osby. Not that he would be better. We don't know, right? We have no idea how good this kid is, but at least he would give you youth minutes. So you could play him, and then the whole time he's playing, while Farfan gets back, you're basically not worried about. You're not going to be worried about the youth minutes since you're using him.
Speaking of youth minutes, our current standing in that department is 259.
Not bad at all.
Not bad. Normally we're at like 5 minutes by this match day.
Yeah. Progress. Is there any other rumors, names that were being floated that you guys want to talk about right now? I know there was that midfielder from the Brazilian league that's got like the blonde hair that was being floated last week. Anybody else that we need to bring up?
Nobody credible that I have on the radar.
Supposedly or allegedly, the kid from Huracan is still on the table.
Okay.
So that deal's still being worked. So who knows? Who knows how that end up? So I mean, it's starting to look a little bleak. I don't know how you guys feel, like heat check, but it's starting to feel like we might not get anything big.
Oh yeah. Out the window for me. Like all the guys that we had on the radar, Solis off the table, Richard Sanchez off the table. If anybody's still on Guido Rodriguez watch, well, he's apparently going to Valencia.
Yeah.
So y'all could finally stop dreaming about that. Yeah, it's not great, man. I feel real hopeless at the moment, unfortunately. So, but it is what it is.
What's starting to get a little desperate is the injury situation. Angulo, for example, is a player that has been for 2 seasons straight on my king of injuries list, and continues to be climbing up that ladder for this season. So I think that's a concern. Ozzy Herrera can't keep himself healthy. So there's some situations there that are getting a little worrisome. And so if you were to lose those players, man, this summer you're looking to have to spend a ton of money, bro, to get the squad up to competitive levels.
I liked your tweet on Paco Reyes. I hope he turns into Maldini. Me too. I hope he
Don't we all?
I hope he turns.
Bro, I hope he turns into Farfan, bro. I hope he surprises us and he's way better than we think he is.
Bro, that would be
Hopefully.
awesome. That would be great. Oh my gosh. Sorry, quick aside. I think we're done talking about rumors and updates and all that. Random thing to transition us into the next thing. Champions League happened today. I don't know if you guys saw that Man City lost to Bodo Glimt, which is hilarious. The Norwegian team. Their entire yearly wage bill of the whole team is the same as what Erling Haaland makes in 14 weeks.
Wow.
Isn't that something? Yeah. I also saw a tweet earlier today during that game that he was like the 5th best Norwegian on that pitch, knowing that the other guys, the other Norwegians from Bodo Glimt were actually dominating, which that was a hilarious bit.
That's awesome.
Anyways, all right. So, talking about Amazonas next. The girls played a game last Friday on the road to León. It ended up in a 1-1 draw. It looked like it wasn't going to be a draw. It looked like we were heading towards a random loss. But mi amor brasileño saving the day. Jennifer Cordinale with a goal to save us from the depths of what would have been a loss amidst a pretty frustrating performance amidst a pretty frustrating injury to Maria Sanchez, which I don't know if we have any like updates on that yet. Thoughts on that game? I know that they had a longer break because they didn't play week 2. It's going to get rescheduled, but I don't know. I feel like it's just one of those classic regular season games where things kind of go to crap for one game, but I'm sure it'll get figured out the next game. I'm not too worried about anything. Are you guys?
We seem to be under Pedro Losa always getting a pair of games like these a year. It's kind of sad because this was a very winnable game, but once again, I think teams kind of have figured it out that they can play us physical, frustrate us, and mess us up, and then we kind of become complicit by becoming a bad passing team, players not moving properly, being too slow. I thought our midfield looked really slow, man. I mean, it was just like it felt like I was watching Mila's team from back in the day. I mean, the midfield looked disconnected. Everything, just the shape was off. So frustrating to watch. Honestly, I don't even think we deserved the tie, but we got it out of nowhere. Um, it was a golazo from Corginali. So goes to show how she always needs to be playing. In my opinion, I think she's a player that has the instinct for the ball and can turn around a game that we would have lost 3 points there, but we were able to secure at least a point, which in a tournament like this, it's important. And then unfortunately, Maria went down. The club today wrote a message, but it's one of those vagues like subject to evaluation, and we'll see when she returns. But normally something like that, you're leased out a couple weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, so we probably won't see her until probably middle of next month or something.
Yeah, and thankfully the injury list is not as bad on the girls' side as it is on the guys' side, but it's not looking super great either. I mean, Jenny and Woso just came back. Maria's obviously down now. Thembi is not back yet either, if I remember correctly.
Oh,
Anika
she's ready to
Rodriguez.
go.
Oh, she is? Okay.
Yeah,
Was she on the bench on Friday?
she was.
Oh, she was. I totally missed that. Whoopsies. Anika Rodriguez is still out for a bit. So it's not that bad, but it's not ideal either to have two of your best players out for a little bit of time. Some good news though is that in training today, the return of Ali Gol. First time in like a year since she had her big injury. So it's good to see her back in the squad. I don't know if she's gonna necessarily play, to be honest with you, because of the level of Diana Ordonez and Cordinali and some of the other attacking options that we have. But as a depth piece,
Yeah, welcome back.
pretty solid.
She'll definitely have to compete though,
Welcome
because
back.
they brought in Mayra Delgadillo now, and so she'll have to battle for that spot.
Yeah. Use her in spot minutes here and there, I assume, but it's great to have her back. I know that she'd been gone for so long, and I don't know, maybe some people may have forgotten that she was on the team, but she's still on the team, people. Like, she's still around. And she has a history of being a good goal scorer in this league. Obviously, it kind of dried up for her before she got hurt, but she has proven, at least in Liga MX, that she can provide goals. So we'll see what happens with her. But for her personally, it's great that she's back at 100% in training, and maybe we'll see her on a match day squad soon.
Mari Carmen Reyes hasn't made an appearance or anything, huh?
Nope.
What's going on with
Nope.
that?
Nope. And nobody seems to know. Nobody seems to have an update. We may need to. The four of us may need to joint tweet Bayo and be like, "Hey, can you investigate this? Because what the
Yeah.
heck is going on?"
Yeah,
Guru.
bro. It would be good to know, bro.
Yeah.
Because I think she should have been back end of November, early December, technically,
Yeah.
fully fit, quote unquote.
Yeah. She's been out for well over a year now, and
Yeah.
it was just an ACL. Like, she should have been back 9 months, but
9 months.
I don't know. We need that mystery to be solved. Edgar, can
Three.
you hold on? What were you saying?
Go ahead, bro.
No, I was just gonna ask Edgar to tell us about the new signing, the last forward spot being taken up by a certain player coming from the Europe side of the world.
That's right, from Woodsy's neighborhood. For those vicinities, Emma Watson joins Las Amazonas. And apparently she's not bringing Harry Potter, so I'm a little disappointed.
Emma Watson is I believe she's a Scottish player, if I remember correctly. So she has some history with Pedro, from the national team, and comes to us from Man United, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Which that's interesting, right? Like that's another. In the span of a year, we've had two girls come over from the Women's Super League, with her, and then not directly, but Ev Berisset was at Chelsea not too long before she came over here to Tigres. So I think it's really cool that we're going into that market a little bit, into that European market, a little bit more aggressively, and hopefully she can contribute um, to the squad. Obviously, for her to be the last foreign spot, that matters, and the history with Pedro helps there too. Do we have a more in-depth scouting report on her, or are we just gonna wait and see how she integrates into the team?
Haven't watched her too much. She does have good background. Rangers. She was at Crystal Palace, Man U, obviously. So she does have a good background. The only concern is that she is coming off an ACL injury. But I think it's a win-win for both of us, right? She gets an opportunity to play in a very competitive league, with some really good teammates, with a really good squad. She's going to have a lot of internal competition, so she can get back to her pre-injury levels. And we also get the exposure to that market. We get a possible player that can get rise up to a good level again. Another piece in the midfield where we can add depth and more competition. So I think it's a win-win. It's a good gamble. I'm not going to say that she's going to wreck the league and she's going to be, immediate impact, but it's a good gamble by the front office. I think it's a good piece to add. And like you mentioned, Pedro Losa knows her, so I think he knows what he's getting into. And you have to trust his judgment there,
Right.
having coached her. So I think it's a good bet by the front office. I like it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great investment, on all sides.
I
And
think
what's
what I like about her game is she's like she can play central, and then she can step to the box, so she can adapt to different systems if we need to change a system. But I think with her having familiarity with Losa's system, she's gonna fit in really well. It's kind of like when Eve came in, like she had that familiarity with Losa's system because she played with him in France. I think this. I'm not saying she's gonna take the league by storm like Lou said, but I think she's really gonna solidify the midfield and hopefully it lights a fire in the rest of the midfielders to step up their game because we got a new signing.
Yeah, especially coming off a game that we just described where the midfield wasn't awesome. Like her coming in to shore up some of that would be great. One more thing about Feminine real quick before we move on. Any thoughts on Nacimiento's debut a few days ago in that game versus Leon?
Wasn't bad. I mean, I think as a whole, I like the Amazonas didn't play their best, but it wasn't a terrible debut. I expected a little bit more, but for a first game, I think, nothing spectacular, but nothing terrible, nothing bad.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah,
I
agree.
know we'll get the best out of her later.
Yeah, it's too early, I think, to form a judgment. I mean, you're asking a player who just basically got off the plane to be able to be at her best. I think it's normal for her to take a couple weeks. She wasn't bad. I mean, there wasn't really any major glaring issues or anything. I think she needs time to get used to the league, the the pace at which the league is played, everything. I think it's just a matter of adapting and getting to know the players. It's like everything else. You start to learn how the opponent likes to play. You start to learn some of the characteristics of the opposing strikers, and you start to get better as time goes along.
Absolutely. We know that we'll get the
Hey,
standard that she set of her being like a world beater in her position sooner
and
than
that's a
later.
good point by Drieger too, is that we were playing her at that left fullback spot, which is not traditionally her position either.
Right.
So we're asking quite a bit out of her in for her debut.
Yeah. Yeah, she's definitely better centrally, for sure. But I wonder, since Natalia Colin is playing a more expanded role this season, I wonder if that ends up getting switched sooner than later. Of like Nacimiento comes in and she comes centrally, and Natalia Colin, who has some experience out on the left side, um, goes back there again. I don't know. I don't know what will happen there, but I'm curious to
M-
see how Pedro tinkers over these next few games.
My dream is that he goes and plays a true 3-5-2 against most of the teams in the league. I think it would be fantastic.
What's the best personnel for that then?
I would probably go Marisa, Greta, and Farmer, possibly for that. Or you could go Marisa, Greta, Colin, and then Farmer as your lone holding mid, and then four in front of her. So four more attacking minded mids in front of Farmer, which you could, for example, on the left, you could play Maria Sanchez when healthy. Like right now, you could plug in Mia Villalpando, for example, and let her have more of an attacking role than a defensive role. And then you would have Corginali, Mayor in the middle, and then on the right side you could play Thembi, and then up top you could do Mayra Delgadillo with Diana Ordóñez,
Yep.
and
Or Corginali.
you're still really solid defensively, but with a lot of attacking pieces on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Next game for the girls is tomorrow against Toluca on the road at 6 o'clock. Yeah, hopefully the game will be televised. We were on the struggle bus last week
Yeah.
trying to find the stream for the game.
I'm watching it on Twitter, bro. What
What a joke.
what a
Wild
joke,
times.
bro.
What a joke. I
I'm
imagine it will
thinking
be.
the Liga Femenil YouTube page will have that game. That's a prime time game. I think they're gonna showcase it on their YouTube page.
It looks like yes. So looking at the banner that's on top of the Twitter page, looks like that's the case, and it'd also be on VIX here in the U.S. So
Okay.
there you go. 6 p.m. Central Time kickoff tomorrow. Tune in if you can.
Oof.
Why you nodding your head? Is that too early for you?
It's too early, bro. I don't like those early games.
I'm with you. I won't be able to watch. I'm at work. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I think that's it for feminine, if I remember correctly. Oh, besides the note that you put on here, Edgar, that we're currently 10th in the standings, but
We got one game on hand, so
yeah,
Yeah.
we're
It's
fine.
not
Pueblita.
Pueblita, but on the men's side, we're not super great. With 11th place, if I remember correctly. Saturday as well, I guess. Oh, I didn't know we played Saturday too. That game on Saturday is a home game against Atlas at
okay.
8 o'clock. So
Do not know that.
tune in as well. That'd be great because the men are playing this weekend, so we will have some Tigres to watch on Saturday, which would be great. So, okay, last thing before we get out of here, as we enter into the hour mark, from the vault, if we have any. I couldn't think of any.
Could not think of any.
Lou, AJ?
No, not off the top of my head.
Trying to think
Yeah,
of where we were last year at this point.
Struggling.
Struck.
For sure. We were in the final days of the Pauno era.
Struggling.
Struggling. Let me see if I can find... Oh, here we go. What's today? Today is the 20th.
Yep.
All right, I'll give you guys two from the vault moments. Just going back to last season. Tigres versus Mazapan, 2-1 at home on January 17th of last year. Anybody remember who was the goal scorer for Tigres of that game? There was an own goal. There was an own goal of that game. So I'm only saying one.
Did Marcelo score?
Nope.
Nico?
Nope. AJ, you got a guess if you're there? Looks like he's not there. The correct answer is Chuy Garza.
Oh,
Wow.
And I cannot remember how he scored it.
Don't remember. Good on him, though.
Couldn't tell you one bit. Oh, you guys want to hear the lineup for that game?
Run through it real quick.
Aquino, Diego Reyes,
Oh, wow.
Joaquim, Chuy started, Pizarro, Gorri, midfield, Lainez, Bruneta, Sebastian, and Nico Ibanez.
Yeah, I remember Nico had played.
The 5 subs that day were Carioca, Guignac, Antuna, Angulo, and Ociel. Siboldi was the coach of Mazapan at the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wasn't what's his name at that game, bro?
Oh, here it is. Here it is right here.
Oh, nice.
Viene el centro, primer palo, buen cabezazo defensivo, contra remate.
Oh,
That's a golazo, bro.
yeah, that's right.
Pero es gol. Es gol, es un golazo de Jesús Garza. ¿Qué importa?
Yep. Thank you, AJ. That's great. My man out here with the screen share. I love it.
Nice.
I did not remember that at all. I didn't even remember that we were wearing blue shorts that game. But good to know. The other game that happened around this time last year was a 1-1 draw that we had at Chivas. Which, if you guys remember correctly, they scored in like the first 5 minutes. And then Bruneta scored right before halftime, and then nothing else happened after that.
Okay.
Not bad. Not bad.
He ran the same lineup that game. The exact same starting 11. So.
Not bad at all.
Towards the end of, like I said, towards the end of the Paunovic era. So. I promise next time I'll try to be better about looking back at prior games for these from the vault moments. Be a little bit more prepared. No guarantees, though.
But you promised.
I did promise.
But without a guarantee.
Without a guarantee. Not like Charles Barkley. Guaranteed. Not doing that. Because then that means something bad is going to happen, unfortunately. Okay. Is that it for our show for this evening?
That just about wraps it up.
Any last words?
El viejito has to go to sleep, bro.
Ya se quiere irse a dormir a la Mimi. AJ, where you at? AJ, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, how you going? Well, I guess is it going to snow in Houston like it is up here and in Austin? Are you guys going to get some of that winter storm?
It says Friday night going to Saturday night.
Oh, okay. So I guess the whole state's getting
Yeah.
covered. You preparing? You getting your rations set out or what?
It's just another day. Just another cold day. I'll probably go outside, start the pit. I don't know yet.
Throw something on the grill.
There was something on the grill.
There you go.
Neighbors gonna complain. There's a fire in the backyard.
That's funny. Oh, what did y'all think of the jersey that came out last week? The clean sponsor jersey.
I'm
The
mad they took
1,000
too long.
What'd you say, Edgar?
They took way too long to drop that.
Oh yeah. Lou, what were you saying?
Dude, they only released 1,000, bro. Like by the time I saw that they had released it, like it was like kind of middle of the day when everybody's busy, and then I looked in the afternoon. I didn't know it was 1,000, limited to 1,000 till the afternoon. So when I went to go check, the only thing left was extra small.
Yeah, the big boy sizes go first. I'm used to that. Surprise
It's
drop.
like, bro, come on.
Yeah.
Like make less extra smalls and make more extra larges, man. Bro, who's wearing extra small in men's?
Nobody.
Children.
They can buy the large too and grow into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Se van a hacer gordo anyway. It's fine. Like get over it.
Children don't have money to buy limited edition jerseys, bro.
Facts. Unless they're doing sports betting on under their parents' name and using the money that they get from that to buy stuff.
Don't give anyone any ideas, bro.
Hey, I'm just saying. I work with kids all the time, and I've had a couple of my high schoolers who I see pretty often say, "Oh, I do sports betting." It's like, dude, you're 16. What are you talking about? Oh, I just do it under my dad's name. What? What is wrong with you? You cannot be doing that. Although, if they ever want to ask tips for Liga MX, maybe I can try and steer them a certain way. Don't ask me, though. Don't ask me. What are you going to say, Lou? It looks like you're about to drop a hot take.
With the refereeing as bad as it's been, bro, it feels like some rigged games right now.
Rigged behavior.
They're going to lose their lunch money.
We're not going to be able to buy ice cream. In this cold weather, you don't want to buy ice cream anyway, says the guy who got ice cream on Saturday when it was 40 degrees. Anyways, agree, rigged. That's a great comment to end on. Rigged. Everything is rigged.
Nah, but we're never gonna get any refereeing help. We just have to live with it, bro. We have to, especially our players.
Oh yeah, we got to suck it up. Unfortunately, it is what it is. All right, that is it for us tonight on the show. If you're wondering, you guys didn't talk about the next Tigres game. Well, we don't need to. We got next week to do that. That's going to be our topic of discussion for the next episode, probably on Tuesday of next week when we talk about the next game on the Tigres calendar, because it is now a random FIFA break in January. And if I remember correctly, I think we only have one player going to that. It's just Linus.
Yep.
So hopefully he doesn't play. I hope he just doesn't play and doesn't get hurt. That'd be great. We need him. Use that time to get into rhythm, but don't get hurt while you're out there, Diego. Please and thank you. But because of that, there are no men's games to preview, but we'll preview the next game, which I believe is the Leon game, next week. And we'll recap these two games for the girls. And I'm sure whatever else comes up between now and then on the next episode of this show. So thank you for being here. A couple things before we go. If you haven't followed us on socials, please do so. Ticker's up on the screen. Check out the show notes as well on YouTube. And if you're listening on podcast, you can follow all of us on social media at all of our respective accounts. Look at the screen or look at the show notes. Edgar and Lou have been doing a great job of providing all the news and updates and rumors especially during this time of year. So please, if you haven't been following them already, you should, because they have been on top of getting the news out to the people. So please do that if you haven't already. But you should follow all of us regardless. You should follow me for just random nonsense, because that's what I'd be doing on Twitter, especially when it comes to soccer. You should, if you haven't already, subscribe to us to our YouTube channel, or follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. If you're listening later, that would be awesome. Leave a comment if you're on Spotify as well. We can see those comments and we can give feedback on those comments if you leave them. So, like I said, we'll be back next week to discuss all the new Tigres news that we receive, preview the next game, whatever else we want to talk about. Maybe we'll talk about how crazy the snow experiences are for each of us this weekend, as we hopefully get back into, hopefully this time next week, all the snow is melted away and we can actually kind of return to some normalcy here in Texas. Because as I said earlier,
the Lau weather times.
I heard you want to start giving out forecasts or what?
Yeah, bro, we're gonna turn into the howdy y'all guy from YouTube.
Meteorologist Leo's over here. Just out here predicting utter chaos instead of weather. Puro desmadre. Anyways, that's it. That's all I got. Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate y'all. Boys, thank you for joining me tonight. Maybe one of these days, I don't know, though, we'll return to his passion project. But until then, y'all be good. Y'all stay warm if you're in Texas. Stay safe. Don't drive in ice, and if you do, be safe if you're out there. And we'll talk to you guys next week. Adios.
Peace.